Yeah, the equity markets here in Asia, and we're seeing continued very strong inflows, the majority of which are coming from the US and also from European markets, where I think, the economies are there are still completely not out of the woods. I read Yellen's comments on the weekend, and there was a touch of sort of hawkishness in there a little bit, but most of it remains still dovish in terms of looking at that slack labour component. You've got unemployment still around 6.3%. Meanwhile, here in Asia, I think, the real bellwether being China. We saw obviously the second quarter GDP number still remain robust. More recently, some of the PMI numbers are still fairly strong. And I think what we've seen now since the lows of March in particular in China, for the Hang Seng for that matter, very, very strong equity markets. So I think over here in Asia at the moment, things are looking conversely fairly strong. And if we come back to Asia, when we look at when the first Fed tapering comments were put into the spectrum back in, say, February, March 2012, you saw those with the current account deficits and those with the most vulnerable currencies. So those current countries with the lowest FX foreign reserves, take Indonesia, for example, with the rupiah, or even India, come back to that when the rupee hit 70. I think that's the function that we certainly will have a ripple effect. I think then from us as portfolio manager, when we look at the equity valuations, we need to say to ourselves, okay, where is the best long-term value? If we have a buy and hold strategy, which companies would we like to own throughout the cycle? And that's what we're doing for Macquarie Asian New Stars, is remaining very, very conservative, just looking for the best companies with that most appropriate risk-return profile. And we're seeing a lot of opportunities still at the moment. Yeah, we've seen a lot of inflows. A lot of markets now, particularly the US, has started to see some selling and some outflows there. Also from Europe as well, some outflows. And Asia in particular has seen a very large amount of inflows. Our Asian New Stars fund is now very, very close to capacity, and we've seen a lot of inflows from our clients as well. So I think really, if you then bring it down, a lot of the money's gone into Taiwan, a lot of money went into India, and now you've seen money pour into China finally. And really it's from March, you've seen consecutive weeks of very, very large inflows. So very much, I think now we're past the point of maximum pessimism, and now I think we've seen obviously a trend which is net inflows into Asia.